Thailand. It's a country with a very unique culture and norms that you're probably not familiar with unless you previously visited. And if you didn't, keep watching, and you'll learn how to avoid trouble and save yourself from embarrassing situations while traveling in Thailand. This country has a few house rules. Break them, and you go from welcome guest to ugly tourist real quick. When it comes to culture and even the law, Thailand is vastly different from its Western counterparts. To best prepare you for your Thailand adventure, we have carefully crafted this list of things not to do in Thailand. Ready? Let's go. Alright, first rule of the road in Thailand. And let's be clear, this one's non-negotiable. Don't touch the head. Not a friendly pat, not a playful ruffle, not even to move that stray hair out of someone's eyes. As innocent as it might sound, this is one of the most offensive things you can do to a local. In Thai culture, the head is considered sacred. People consider the head to be the cleanest and holiest part of one's body. You shouldn't touch anyone's head or try to put anything on it, including a hat, unless you want to offend someone. Try to remember that while in Thailand, you should not use your feet for anything else but walking. Pointing at people with your hands is rude too, but pointing at someone with your feet can be taken as an offense. Also, never point your feet towards temples, monks, and images of Buddha or the royal family, even when you're sitting down. They're considered the lowest, dirtiest part of the body. So, keep those feet planted firmly on the ground, use your words, or better yet, a polite why. Alright, let's talk about shoes. Thai people always take their shoes off when visiting someone's home and when visiting most temples. This is even applicable to some restaurants. As a rule of thumb, if you see shoes outside or people inside who are barefoot, take your shoes off even if your host insists that you shouldn't. In Thailand, the feet are considered the lowest, most unclean part of the body. Keeping your shoes on in sacred spaces is a sign of disrespect to the spirits that reside there and the people who welcome you in. Meeting someone in Thailand? Forget the handshake. Shaking hands isn't a part of Thai tradition. Thai people greet people by placing their palms together, similar like we do when we pray. Usually it's younger people that greet older people or people with a lower social status that greet people with higher social status. If a younger person greets you, you don't have to greet them back, but you can. However, if someone with lower social status like a shop clerk greets you, you shouldn't greet back. A smile will be enough. The why shows humility and grace. Again, this is another thing that might seem harmless to you but will bother a lot of people. You probably don't know this, but there's a Thai superstition according to which whistling at night can summon evil spirits. People can get anxious when hearing this sound at night, and this is one thing you need to be aware of before visiting Thailand. You can whistle in the morning or throughout the day, but never do it at night. So keep your lips pursed and your whistling impulses in check. Listen, I get it. You want to grab your significant other and suck face right there on the street corner. But trust me, pump the brakes. Thailand is still a pretty conservative country. With all the street girls stories, you might think Thailand is a very liberal country, but that's not quite true. Thai people don't display affection in public, and you shouldn't do that either. French kissing in public is considered extremely rude, and most Thai people don't even hold hands in public. Let's talk about Thai baht. Stepping on Thai currency is prohibited in Thailand due to the cultural and legal significance attached to it. The Thai baht features an image of the current monarch, and in Thai culture the king is held in the highest regard. Disrespecting the image of the king, even inadvertently by stepping on currency, is considered deeply offensive, and can result in severe legal consequences. Be mindful. When shopping at local markets, most Thai vendors will usually always give you a price higher than the actual one, expecting you to bargain, but you should never bargain too low. Bargaining is a part of Thai culture, and most vendors will expect you to bargain. That's why they always start with a higher price, but never bargain too low because some people might get offended. As a rule of thumb, if you're not ready to pay at least half of the initial price, don't bargain at all. Listen, I get it, Thailand's hot, but trust me, Rocking up to a temple or wandering through a rural village in your shortest shorts and a tank top? Not a good look. You will find numerous temples in Thailand, and you would want to visit them all. But, one thing that you have to remember is what not to wear in Thailand when you are visiting the temples. If you wear something too revealing, it is considered impolite. As such, you cannot wear shorts, miniskirts, and tank tops. Instead, it would be best to wear pants and a top that covers your arms when you visit some of the holy places in Thailand. Thailand's culture places a high value on modesty, especially when it comes to religious sites in traditional communities. So pack those elephant pants, find yourself a breezy linen shirt, and leave the barely there outfits for the beach. Alright, let's talk about monks. These guys draped in saffron robes are like walking, talking embodiments of peace and piety. They dedicate their lives to meditation, study, and helping others. They command serious respect. Now this respect comes with certain boundaries, and one of the biggest no-nos is physical contact, especially if you're a woman. We're talking no touching, no hugging, no high fives, no pats on the back. It's just not done. In Thailand, monks are one of the most highly respected people, which is why standing over or being positioned higher than them is strictly forbidden. If you are a woman, remember never to touch a monk. Because they are not allowed to touch women, they often will not even hand them anything directly. In case they want to hand over something, they will place that item on the ground for women to pick it up themselves. Also, the monks are not supposed to sit next to a woman in local transports either. If you are a woman, coming into contact with monks is one of the things to be careful of in Thailand. Look, every country has its own sensitivities, things people hold sacred, untouchable. In Thailand, the king is top of that list. It's essential to remember that the king and the royal family in Thailand are highly regarded. Saying something negative or offensive about the royal family can offend local Thai people. There's also a strict law against insulting the king and any member of the royal family, which means that you can go to jail for doing so. And trust me, that's not a place you want to be. That's why it's best not to mention the king in public. In addition, you should always avoid disrespecting pictures of the royal family. This includes stepping or kicking on any coins or money since the king's portrait is engraved on them. I don't care how edgy you think you are, just don't do it. There had been many cases in the past where visitors were jailed for showing negative attitudes and behavior towards the king. Be mindful, be respectful, and for God's sake, don't be stupid. In a lot of places around Thailand, you'll find sanctuaries with illegally procured wild animals. These animals are captured from the wild and held in captivity with a sole purpose: to allow their owners to profit on tourists that visit these sanctuaries and take pictures with the animal. In some of these sanctuaries, people even remove the teeth and claws so that tourists can approach the animals and take pictures with them. Keep in mind that when visiting these places, you're just as guilty as the owners, and every dollar you spend at these tourist traps just perpetuates the cycle of abuse. Riding an elephant through the jungle might seem like an epic adventure. You've seen the brochures, the smiling tourists perched atop these majestic creatures, but let me tell you, there's nothing romantic about animal cruelty. These elephants are broken, literally. They're often taken from their mothers at a young age, subjected to brutal training methods that leave them physically and psychologically scarred. Also, some tourist can check ride an elephant off their bucket list. Want to experience the power and grace of these animals? Support sanctuaries that prioritize their well-being. Places where you can observe elephants in their natural habitat, free to roam and socialize without fear. Remember, a true adventure should never come at the expense of another living being. Sure, this seems innocent and you'd feel like doing a good deed, but this is a big no-no and one of the most important things not do in Thailand. By buying stuff from these kid street vendors, you're only encouraging child labor and trafficking. But before you reach for your wallet, think about where that money is really going. These kids likely have someone above them who takes all of their earnings. Additionally, you can never be too careful as some of these kids are master pickpockets. So, what can you do? Support organizations that are working to get these kids off the streets and into classrooms. That's a souvenir you can feel good about. Speaking of things not to do in Thailand that most people don't know about, you should never try to take pictures or statues of Buddha outside of Thailand. Sure, pictures and statues of Buddha make great souvenirs or gifts for your loved ones, but what most tourists don't know about them is that it's actually illegal to take them out of the country. If you want to do this, you need to obtain a special permit. If the airport security sees this and you don't have a permit, you might have to pay a hefty fine. Appreciate the craftsmanship, snap a photo if you must, but leave the Buddha statues where they belong. In Thailand, you should never ever lose your temper. Thais are known as calm people who generally don't lose their temper. They even have a philosophy that they call Jai Yen, meaning cool heart. Most of them avoid confrontations and see raising one's voice as something very rude. Keep this in mind when in Thailand and always try to keep your cool no matter how frustrating your situation seems. Ah, the Tuk-Tuk. That three-wheeled chariot weaving through traffic like a caffeinated bumblebee. Some tuk-tuk drivers will try to straight-up rob you with a ridiculous fare for a short ride. Others will tell you that the place you're heading to is closed and take you to a bunch of tourist traps. Even worse, some tuk-tuk drivers will offer to give you a cheap ride, but they will only take you to several expensive shops where you might be harassed, pressured to buy something, or even drugged and robbed, and the driver will get an affiliate commission for it. In average, around 50 people drown every year on Phuket's west coast, Krabi, Khao Lak and Trang, when the monsoon season brings big waves to this part of Thailand. A lot of the beaches don't have proper lifeguard patrols because it's the off-season and tourists aren't properly informed about the dangers of swimming in this part of Thailand during the monsoon season. So, avoid swimming in these parts of Thailand between the months of May and November and see what's the best time to visit Thailand before you plan your trip. Even the most seasoned adventurer knows when to pick their battles. If you go to the cinema to see a movie, you'll notice there's a short tribute before the beginning of every film where the king is on the screen. When you see this, you should stand up even if there isn't anyone else in the movie hall. If you don't, you're being disrespectful towards the king. And we all know what happens to people who disrespect the king. The Andaman Sea. Turquoise waters, pristine beaches, enough coral and shells to make you want to weep. It's tempting, I know, to pocket a little piece of paradise. But in most parts of Thailand, they're protected and should not be taken away from their natural inhabitant, and you can actually get fined for this. See, those shells, that coral, they're not just pretty trinkets. They're part of a delicate ecosystem. So there you have it, a crash course in Thai etiquette. Look, I'm not saying you gotta be a saint, just be mindful, be respectful. Thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more awesome content. This is Global Travel Venture. Until next time, safe travels.